The man sitting on the park bench was worth $500 million, but he couldn't remember his own name. 19-year-old Tanya Johnson has $42 to her name and 3 days to help her older brother make his car payment. The last thing she needs is to get involved with a confused stranger in downtown Seattle, especially when she's already late for her first job interview. This might be her only shot at a future. But something about him stops her cold. He's clutching a worn leather satchel like his life depends on it. Rain soaking through a coat that probably costs more than her family makes in 6 months. Tech executives in tailored suits step around him like he's invisible. "Sir, are you okay?" she asks. He looks up with frightened eyes. I'm supposed to be somewhere important, but I can't remember where." What happens next will change both their lives forever, but neither of them sees it coming. If Tanya had known what this Thursday would bring, she might have stayed in bed. But at 6 a.m., her phone buzzes with the same nightmare that's been haunting her family for weeks. The bank called again. "Need $500 by Saturday or they're repossessing the truck." The text from her brother David hits harder than her alarm clock ever could. David stares at the cracked ceiling of their 2-bedroom apartment, doing math that never adds up. His part-time job at the local diner pays $15 an hour when he's scheduled. His younger sister Leah sleeps on the pull-out couch 5 feet away. Her acceptance letter to art school taped above her pillow like a prayer. Tuition due in 4 weeks. Leah's dream since she was 7 years old, watching her mom come home exhausted from double shifts at the hospital, saying, "Someone's got to bring beauty to the world, baby." Might as well be us. But dreams cost money they don't have. Tanya rolls off her floor mattress quietly, careful not to wake Leah. The apartment feels smaller every day. 1 bedroom, 1 bathroom, a kitchen barely big enough for 2 people to stand. Walking to her interview, Tanya passes the coffee shop where she applied last month. 3 other places gave her the same polite rejection. Too young, no experience, not the right fit. The right fit, like poverty, is a choice. On the bus, Tanya's stomach growls. By the time she reaches downtown, she's dizzy with hunger, but she splits her sandwich with the man sitting next to her anyway. He's carrying a large portfolio of drawings and looks stressed. "You barely have enough for yourself," he protests. But Tanya just shrugs. "We both gotta eat, right?" It's automatic kindness learned from watching her mom somehow always find room for one more at their dinner table. After the bus ride, Tanya takes the subway to her interview at Apex Innovations. The office building is sleek, modern, nothing like the practical, worn-down tools and equipment she's used to working with in her brother's truck. "You got good hands, kid," David says, watching Tanya work. "A natural mechanic, but you're thinking too big a picture. Focus on what's right in front of you." David doesn't understand that Tanya can't stop thinking about the big picture. She has to, because if she focuses on what's right in front of her, bills, hunger, her brother's exhausted face, she'll drown in it. Instead, Tanya dreams about inventing sustainable energy solutions that working families can actually afford. David finds Tanya watching YouTube videos about clean energy engineering during her break. "College girl dreams," he teases, but not meanly. "Just remember, dreams don't pay truck payments." Home by 8 p.m., Tanya helps Leah with her art portfolio, while her brother works his night shift. Leah's brilliant straight A's, accepted to 3 art schools, but only one offers financial aid. "I could take a gap year," Leah says quietly. Eraser shavings scattered across her homework. "Work full-time. Save up money." "No," Tanya's voice is firm. "You're going to college. We'll figure it out." But lying on her floor, mattress that night, Tanya isn't sure how. She stares at her phone's cracked screen, scrolling through classmates' Instagram posts. Spring break trips to Florida, new cars for Sweet 16, college acceptance parties with cakes that probably cost more than her family's weekly grocery budget. She doesn't feel jealous exactly, just tired. But quitting isn't in her vocabulary. Her mom raised her to believe that character matters more than circumstances, that doing the right thing still counts even when nobody's watching. Thursday morning brings unexpected rain, soaking through Tanya's only jacket before she's walked 2 blocks. By the time she reaches downtown Seattle for her interview, she's drenched and self-conscious. She checks her reflection in a store window, wrinkled shirt, damp hair, scuffed shoes. The interviewers will be polished, professional, used to kids who arrive in cars instead of on buses. Fake it till you make it, she whispers to herself. It's her mom's mantra, repeated every morning, like a prayer. What Tanya doesn't know is that this particular Thursday will prove her mom right in ways she never imagined. The scene that stopped Tanya in her tracks was one most people would pretend not to see. Walking past the prestigious Vance Technology District, Tanya notices him immediately. An elderly white man sits on the park bench between 2 towering office buildings, looking completely out of place. His silver hair is disheveled, but his clothes scream wealth. A Burberry suit, Italian leather shoes, a Samsonite briefcase clutched tightly in his lap. The rain has intensified, creating a curtain between him and the stream of business professionals hurrying past. Steam rises from manholes, mixing the smell of wet concrete with expensive coffee from the lobby cafe 20 feet away. He's sitting directly under a construction scaffold, partially sheltered but still getting soaked. And everyone is pretending he doesn't exist. A woman in a $3,000 suit sidesteps around him, phone pressed to her ear. A man in designer heels notices, frowns with obvious distaste, and quickens his pace like confusion might be contagious. 2 security guards from the nearby lobby are having a heated discussion, pointing in his direction. Neither wants to deal with the situation. Tanya slows her pace. Torn. She's already running 20 minutes late for her interview. Her wet clothes aren't helping her confidence. The man could be homeless, mentally ill, dangerous, all the things her brother warns her about in the city. But he keeps looking around desperately, like he's lost in his own city. His movements remind her of her grandmother before she passed. "Excuse me, sir." Tanya's voice is gentle, non-threatening. She crouches to his eye level, ignoring the puddle soaking through her already damp jeans. Up close, she notices details others missed. His hands are shaking, not from cold, but from genuine fear. His leather satchel is expensive, but shows wear. This isn't someone posing for attention. I'm supposed to be somewhere, he says, voice barely audible over traffic noise. But I can't remember where or how I got here. His eyes darted between faces in the crowd. Everyone keeps walking past like I'm invisible. You're not invisible, Tanya says firmly. What's your name? He hesitates, pressing fingers to his temple. Julian, he says. I think. Julian Hale. The name comes out uncertain. A gust of wind blows rain directly under the scaffold, soaking them both. Julian starts to stand, but wobbles dangerously. Tanya catches his elbow, steadying him against the concrete pillar. Whoa, easy. When's the last time you ate something? His silence is answer enough. A city bus pulls up at the nearby stop, exhaust mixing with rain to create a toxic cloud. Julian starts coughing. I need to get inside, he manages between coughs. But I don't. I can't remember where I belong. Tanya checks her phone. 10:15 a.m. The interview started 15 minutes ago. This might be her only opportunity to talk to hiring managers face to face. But Julian is shivering now, and his confusion seems to be getting worse. Come on, Tanya says, standing and offering her arm. Let's get you somewhere warm and figure this out." He looks up at her with such gratitude that it breaks her heart a little. As they walk toward the nearest cafe, Julian suddenly stops and looks directly at her. For just a second, his eyes clear completely, sharp, intelligent, focused. "You have your mother's hands," he says with startling certainty. "Just like my daughter would have had." Then the confusion returns like fog rolling in. She notices his satchel has a logo embossed in gold, Hale Dynamics, but the name doesn't ring any bells. Some moments change everything. This is one of them. What happened next would be replayed on security cameras across 3 buildings. Tanya guides Julian into Cornerstone Cafe, an upscale spot where coffee costs more than her lunch budget. The hostess gives them a look. Wet teenager, confused elderly man, not exactly their usual clientele. But Tanya doesn't flinch. "Table for 2, please." Somewhere quiet. She speaks like she belongs here. Confidence learned from watching her mom handle dismissive receptionists at the hospital. The hostess hesitates, then leads them to a corner booth, damage control. Tanya orders Julian hot tea and a chocolate croissant, using most of her lunch money without hesitation. He wraps his hands around the warm ceramic cup, and color slowly returns to his pale cheeks. "Better?" she asks. He nods. "You're very kind," Tanya texts her brother. "Running late. Family emergency. We'll be there soon." The lie comes easily. This feels like family now. While Julian sips his tea, Tanya gently examines his leather satchel. Inside, schematics for what looks like a massive energy development project. Financial documents with way too many zeros. And business cards from law firms. Everything bears the same logo. Hale Dynamics. "Julian, do you recognize any of these papers?" Tanya asks carefully. He studies them. A meeting. There was supposed to be a meeting. Very important. His voice gains strength as fragments return. Something about green energy. A power plant. On her cracked screen, Tanya Googles Hale Dynamics Seattle. Her weak data connection loads results slowly, but her eyes widen as information appears. A major technology developer, billion-dollar company, recently in the news for a massive sustainable energy project. The CEO's photo loads last. A confident businessman in his early 70s, silver hair perfectly styled, standing in front of a groundbreaking ceremony banner. "Julian Hale," Tanya says gently, showing him the search results. "Does this look like you?" Julian stares at the photo. At himself. That's me," he whispers, touching his disheveled hair self-consciously. "But I look so together." "Sir, I think you might be having a medical episode," Tanya says carefully. "Confusion. Memory problems. We should get you to a doctor." Julian grabs her wrist with surprising strength. "No hospitals," he says urgently. They'll say I can't." The fear is back, sharp and desperate. The project, today's vote decides everything. Thousands of homes need that power source. Through patient questioning, Tanya pieces together fragments. Julian was supposed to present the final proposal for a $500 million clean energy development to the city council at noon. Without his signature and testimony, the project dies. The land gets sold to fossil fuel developers instead. Tanya calls the number labeled Liam, assistant, from Julian's phone. "This is Julian Hale's phone," she says when a frantic voice answers. "He's safe, but he needs help." The relief in Liam Vance's voice is audible. "We've had security looking everywhere. The board meeting started an hour ago, and Mr. Hale never showed. The council members are threatening to postpone the vote. He's having some kind of memory issue, Tanya explains. But he's okay. Where should we meet you? Liam arrives in a company car within 10 minutes. He rushes into the cafe like Julian is his own grandfather. Mr. Hale, thank God, he breathes, sliding into the booth beside him. But Julian still looks fragile, uncertain. I don't think I can do this, Liam, he admits. I can't remember the numbers, the talking points. What if I help? Tanya suggests, surprising herself. Both Julian and Liam stare at her. I've been studying the papers while we wait, Tanya continues. The project powers 5,000 homes, creates 2,000 construction jobs. It's not just business, it's hope. Something in her tone seems to center Julian, reminding him why this matters. Liam drives them to City Hall. During the 15-minute trip, Tanya reviews key points with Julian, her natural teaching ability helping him regain focus. You built this company from nothing, she reminds him. Julian's confidence grows with each passing block. By the time they reach City Hall's imposing stone steps, he's sitting straighter, speaking clearly. At the entrance, Julian stops and takes Tanya's hands in both of his. I don't know why you helped me, he says, tears threatening. But you didn't just save me. You saved this entire project. 5,000 families will have power because of what you did today. Tanya shrugs. Just doing what's right. Liam escorts Julian inside while Tanya waits on the massive stone steps, finally checking her phone. The job interview ended an hour ago. She missed her chance. But looking up at City Hall's towering columns, watching Julian disappear, Tanya knows she'd make the same choice again. This was one of them. The business card Julian pressed into her palm would change everything. If only she knew what it meant. 45 minutes later, Julian emerges from City Hall, looking completely transformed. The vote passed unanimously. Julian approaches Tanya with tears in his eyes. Because of you, thousands of families will have a future, he says. How can I possibly repay that? He pulls out his checkbook. But Tanya immediately steps back. I don't want money. The words come out firm. I helped because it was the right thing to do, not for a reward. Julian looks genuinely surprised. In his world, everyone wants payment. He slowly closes the checkbook, studying Tanya's face. No, Julian says quietly, they wouldn't have, and they didn't. He reaches into his satchel and pulls out a business card, not his, but someone else's. The card reads, Alonzo Hale, Sustainable Energy Engineer, Hale Innovation Labs. Alonzo was my son, Julian explains, pressing the card into Tanya's palm, along with something else, a small silver keychain, shaped like a lightning bolt engraved with the initials A. He died in an accident 3 years ago. He was brilliant. He would have been about your age now. Julian's eyes search Tanya's face. You have his hands, kind but determined. It was like hearing Alonzo speak, the same passion for helping people, the same understanding of real problems. Liam checks his watch. Mr. Hale, the board is waiting in the car, the celebration lunch. Julian nods but doesn't move immediately. Tanya, he says carefully, what do you plan to do after high school? College, hopefully. Tanya answers honestly, maybe study engineering. I work on engines now, and I love figuring out how things work. But college is expensive. And my family. Julian understands perfectly. Alonzo went to Stanford, he says casually. Full scholarship. He always said the best engineers come from backgrounds where they understand real problems, not just theoretical ones. He pauses meaningfully. I wonder what he would think of your potential. As Julian walks toward the waiting car, he turns back one more time. Tanya, hold on to that card and the keychain. Sometimes the most important things come when we least expect them. Liam approaches Tanya privately. Mr. Hale doesn't usually share Alonzo's things with anyone, he says quietly. In 3 years, you're the first person he's given something of his to. That means something important, something big. Before Tanya can ask what, Liam hurries after Julian. Alone on the City Hall steps, Tanya examines the business card and keychain. The address listed is for an industrial complex across town. The keychain feels warm in her palm. Substantial. Tanya has no idea that Julian is already making calls from the backseat of his car, setting wheels in motion that will change her life forever. 3 phone calls Julian made that afternoon would set off a chain reaction Tanya never saw coming. Eliza, it's Julian Hale. In the back seat of his Mercedes, Julian dials Dr. Eliza Chen, director of Stanford's Sustainable Engineering Program. I think I found someone. He glances at the business card he gave Tanya. A young woman with real potential, a natural problem solver, understands social impact, comes from exactly the background Alonzo cared about. Serafina Reed receives unusual instructions. Pull together everything we have on the Alonzo Hale Memorial Fund. I want background research on Tanya Johnson, discreetly. Within hours, Serafina compiles a file. Tanya's academic records. Stellar recommendations from her brother. Her family situation. It's the character references that make Julian smile. Teachers described her as the student who helps others without being asked. She makes them believe they can fix anything, the report notes. That evening, Julian visits Hale Innovation Labs, Alonzo's former workspace preserved exactly as he left it 3 years ago. Blueprints for affordable solar systems and microgrids cover the walls. He would have loved to mentor someone like Tanya, Julian murmurs to himself. He calls a private meeting with Dr. Evan Michael Torres, head of Hale's Energy Research Division. I want to restart the Alonzo Hale Fellowship Program, he announces. Full funding, guaranteed job placement. But I want it structured differently this time. More hands-on. More real-world application. Dr. Torres pulls out dusty files. Alonzo designed this program to bridge the gap between theoretical engineering and practical application. He pauses. It's been dormant since Alonzo died. I know, Julian finishes. But maybe it's time to honor his memory by actually helping someone who embodies his values. By evening, Julian has set multiple wheels in motion. Stanford application materials being expedited. Hale Innovation Labs being prepared for a new intern program. Arrangements made for a coincidental encounter. In Alonzo's old office, Julian sits holding a photo of his son at his Stanford graduation. I think you would have liked her, sweetheart, he whispers. She has your heart. Across town, Tanya has no idea her entire future is being carefully orchestrated. The phone call that interrupted Tanya's shift at the diner would reveal a connection she never imagined. 3 days after the City Hall incident, Tanya is cleaning tables when her phone rings. Unknown number, with a 650 area code. Tanya Johnson. The voice is Dr. Eliza Chen from Stanford School of Engineering. I think you have the wrong person, Tanya says carefully. Dr. Eliza Chen. I haven't applied to Stanford. Dr. Chen's laugh is warm. No. But someone has applied on your behalf. Someone who believes you have extraordinary potential. Her brother raises his eyebrows from across the diner. I can't reveal who nominated you, Dr. Chen continues. But we'd like to invite you to campus for a special interview. All expenses paid, of course. Before the campus visit, Dr. Chen explains, we'd like you to tour Hale Innovation Labs here in Seattle. Hale. The name hits Tanya like a bolt of electricity. Hale? Like the park bench man? She asks. I'm not sure I understand the connection, Dr. Chen says diplomatically. The next week, Tanya takes the bus to the Hale Innovation Labs complex. The building is sleek glass and steel, nothing like the grimy auto shop where she feels at home. In the lobby, massive photos showcase innovative energy designs. Dr. Torres meets her with a warm handshake. "We're excited to show you what we're working on." They walk down a hallway lined with patents and awards. Every few steps, Tanya notices the name, a Hale, on various innovations. "This was our lead design engineer's workspace," Dr. Torres says casually, opening a door. "He died tragically 3 years ago, but his vision drives everything we do here." Tanya steps inside and freezes. The office is like a shrine to energy innovation. Blueprints for affordable solar systems cover every wall. These are the exact kinds of solutions Tanya has dreamed about designing. On the desk sits a framed photo, a young man who looks remarkably like Tanya. The nameplate reads Alonzo Hale, lead design engineer. Tanya's hand goes instinctively to her pocket where Julian's keychain has lived. She pulls it out, the small silver lightning bolt engraved with A.H. "Where did you get that?" Dr. Torres asks. "A man gave it to me," Tanya says slowly. "Julian Hale. I helped him a few days ago when he was confused downtown. He said it belonged to his son." The color drains from Dr. Torres's face. "You're the young woman who helped Mr. Hale," he says. Not a question, but a statement of sudden understanding. Tanya sets the keychain on the desk next to an identical one. "Alonzo Hale," Tanya reads. "Julian Hale. They're related. Alonzo was his son," Dr. Torres confirms. "Brilliant engineer. Passionate about social impact through sustainable energy." Dr. Torres gestures around the preserved office. "Mr. Hale has been searching for the right person to restart Alonzo's scholarship program ever since. Someone who embodies his values, his vision, his character." The room seems to spin around Tanya. "Is it because I helped him that day?" "But not just because you helped him," Dr. Torres clarifies. "Because of how you helped him, why you helped him, and what you demonstrated about your character and intelligence. Mr. Hale told us about a remarkable young woman who understood the importance of the energy project, who refused payment for her kindness, who reminded him of someone very special." As if summoned, Julian Hale appears in the doorway. He looks completely different than he did that confusing rainy day. Confident, commanding, every inch the billionaire CEO. But his eyes are the same, kind, sharp, and now watching Tanya with obvious affection. "Hello, Tanya," he says warmly. "I believe you have something that belongs here." He gestures to the keychain on the desk. Tanya stares at him. "Your son, the business card, the keychain. You're not just any Julian Hale. You're the Julian Hale. Hale Dynamics." Julian nods. "And you're not just any kind teenager. You're exactly the young woman Alonzo would have wanted to carry on his work." "The confusion that day was real," Julian interrupts. "But finding you, meeting you, that was fate." Tanya looks around the office at Alonzo's designs, at the photos of a young man who could have been her brother, at the man who's been orchestrating her future. "So here's what's going to happen," Julian says, his voice firm with decision. "Full scholarship to Stanford, guaranteed. Summer internships here at the lab. A chance to bring Alonzo's designs to life. And when you graduate, a position here designing the future of affordable energy." Tanya can barely breathe. "I don't understand. Why me?" Julian's smile is radiant. "Because kindness recognizes kindness, Tanya. And because sometimes the universe puts exactly the right person in exactly the right place at exactly the right moment." He pauses. "Alonzo always said, the best engineers come from backgrounds where they understand real problems. You are that engineer, Tanya. You are his legacy. The contract Julian placed in front of Tanya would guarantee everything she'd ever dreamed of. But first, he had one more surprise. Julian leads Tanya to the executive conference room. The Alonzo Hale Memorial Fellowship, Julian explains. Full tuition, room and board at Stanford, $2,500 monthly stipend, guaranteed summer internships, and a job offer upon graduation with a starting salary of $130,000. Tanya's hands shake as she flips through the papers. The numbers are staggering. Over $450,000 in total investment. Mr. Hale, she starts, but he holds up a hand. There's more. Julian's eyes twinkle. Your brother David, he's a brilliant mechanic, accepted to a vocational program at Seattle Technical. Full scholarship courtesy of the Hale Foundation. Your mother will receive a $15,000 grant to cover living expenses while you're both in school. Tanya stares in disbelief. You looked into my family? Julian nods unapologetically. Tanya, kindness isn't just individual. It's systemic. Helping you succeed means helping your whole support system succeed. Dr. Torres leans forward. The fellowship isn't charity, Tanya. It comes with real responsibilities. You'll work 20 hours a week in our labs, collaborate on active projects. We expect excellence because we believe you're capable of it. Julian activates a large monitor. This is Project Nova, Julian announces. Affordable microgrids for working families. Purchase price under $12,000. Alonzo designed the core systems before he died, but we need fresh perspective to bring it to market. Tanya studies the blueprints, her engineering mind immediately grasping the brilliance of the design. Julian continues, imagine your brother getting power from a system that costs $10 a month to operate instead of $300. That's what this project could achieve, and you could be the engineer who makes it happen. Tanya thinks about all the times her brother's truck broke down. This isn't just about her future. It's about changing the entire trajectory of what's possible for people like her family. Dr. Torres pulls out another folder. The fellowship also includes professional mentorship. By your sophomore year, you'll be leading your own research initiatives. And the network, Julian adds. Industry conferences, meetings with energy executives. You'll graduate not just with a degree, but with the relationships needed to create lasting change. Julian turns back to face her. Alonzo always said, the best engineers come from backgrounds where they understand real problems. You are that engineer, Tanya. You are his legacy. Torres explains the timeline. Stanford's semester starts in 8 weeks. Julian adds one final detail. Your family will be taken care of. David's tuition, your mother's expenses, even the owner of the diner. I'm funding an equipment upgrade for their business as thanks for training you so well. Tanya picks up the pen, then sets it down again. Her hands are trembling. Mr. Hale, she says quietly, is this real? Like, really real? Julian reaches across the table and covers her hand with his. Tanya, he says firmly, this is the most real thing I've done in 3 years. You saved more than just my afternoon downtown. You saved my faith that there are still people in the world who do the right thing simply because it's right. This fellowship isn't charity. It's an investment in the future Alonzo dreamed of. With trembling hands, Tanya signs her name. Julian witnesses the signature, then pulls out his phone. David, this is Julian Hale. I have some news about your sister that's going to change everything. 6 months later, the ripple effects of that rainy Thursday were being felt across 3 states. Stanford campus, fall semester. Tanya thrives in her engineering courses. Her practical experience gives her advantages over classmates. Crawford Innovation Labs. Winter break. Tanya spends winter break working on Project Nova. Her first major contribution, redesigning the battery charging system, increases efficiency by 23% while reducing manufacturing costs by $8,000 per unit. Senior engineers watch in amazement. Fixing broken generators in Seattle summers. Tanya grins. Same principles, different application. Seattle, spring semester. Leah graduates from the Seattle Institute of Art with honors. Immediately hired at a local gallery. Her brother, David, drives his new, reliable truck. Employee discount through Hale's partnership program to Leah's graduation ceremony. David himself is back in school now, pursuing his automotive certification. Seattle Tribune feature story. From diner to Stanford, local teens' act of kindness leads to engineering scholarship. The headline captures everything. When helping others helps you. The Hale Dynamics Fellowship story. The local diner has grown from 2 employees to 10 using the equipment upgrade Julian funded. He's now training 12 young people in culinary arts, calling it the Tanya Johnson Apprentice Program, Westside High School Engineering Track. Stanford and Hale Dynamics establish a pipeline program at Tanya's old high school. Enrollment in math and science courses increases by 400%. Project Nova success. The first Project Nova units roll off the production line in year 3 of Tanya's program. Affordable microgrids, priced at $12,000. Pre-orders exceed 50,000 units in the first month. University of Washington research study. An economics professor studies the Hale effect, measuring how strategic investment in character-based leaders creates community-wide change. 5 years after that rainy Thursday, Tanya would find herself on a familiar street corner. But this time, she was the one offering help. Downtown Seattle. Thursday morning. Light rain. Dr. Tanya Johnson, now 24 and fresh from her Stanford graduation ceremony, walks through the same financial district where everything changed. She's heading to her first day as lead design engineer at Hale Innovation Labs. The morning feels familiar. She pauses at the exact spot where she found Julian 5 years ago. Now marked with a small bronze plaque, Julian had installed quietly, Alonzo Hale, Memorial Corner, where kindness meets opportunity. That's when she sees him. A teenage boy, maybe 17, sits on the same bench where Julian once sat. He's soaked and shivering, clutching a soggy college application. He looks lost, overwhelmed, exactly like Julian did that day. Without hesitation, Tanya approaches. "Hey, you okay?" He looks up with eyes full of tears and frustration. "I had my college interview this morning," he says, voice breaking. "U of Washington engineering program, but the bus broke down. And by the time I got there, they'd already filled the last spot." Tanya's heart clenches. This could have been her brother's story. "What's your name?" she asks gently. "Elias," he responds. "Elias Chen." Tanya pulls out her phone. "Dr. Vance, this is Tanya Johnson. I have someone you need to meet." Within 5 minutes, U of Washington agreed to a rescheduled interview. While they wait, Tanya tells him about the Hale Foundation. She hands him a business card, her own now. Dr. Tanya Johnson, lead design engineer. Sometimes the universe puts exactly the right person in exactly the right place at exactly the right moment, she says, echoing Julian's words. Hope replaces despair in Elias's eyes. A familiar car pulls up. Julian, now 79, rolls down the window with a knowing smile. "Need a ride to U of Washington?" he asks Elias warmly. "I happen to be on the board there." As they drive away, Julian catches Tanya's eye in the rearview mirror and winks. The cycle continues. Kindness creating opportunity. Opportunity creating more kindness. That evening, Julian calls Tanya. "Elias impressed everyone at U of Washington," Julian reports. "Full scholarship starting this fall. He wants to specialize in robotic surgery. Tanya smiles, understanding perfectly. The circle never breaks. Later, walking into Hale Innovation Labs, Tanya stops at the lobby display, a wall of photos showing all 47 Hale Fellows. In the center, Alonzo's graduation photo sits surrounded by the students carrying forward his legacy. Below it, a new addition, the first Hale Fellows graduating class with Tanya front and center. The inscription reads, "Kindness is the engineering principle that builds better futures." On the corner outside, a new bronze plaque is being installed. Elias Chen Memorial Corner, where hope begins again. The story continues, one act of kindness at a time. The corner where it all began now sees a new act of kindness every week because inspiration spreads. Tanya's story reminds us that the most ordinary moments can become extraordinary turning points. A confused man on a street corner, a teenager with a kind heart, a decision to help instead of hurrying past. The question isn't whether opportunities for kindness exist, it's whether you're the kind of person who recognizes them. Your Thursday is waiting. What will you choose when it arrives?